Okay. All right. So here with the one and only Malform, right?
What's up?
An absolute pleasure, you guys. 1,800 followers on Instagram. I don't know if you guys have a YouTube channel by any
we,
chance.
we do, but like we haven't posted on it in like a long time. But we're gonna get going on like different medias pretty soon.
Uh-huh. Good,
We do
good.
have a Twitter account that's I kind of am active and and we do
Mhm.
have a Facebook account. So
Awesome. So, real quick, we just want to go around, have you guys introduce yourselves, right? So, we'll just start from the right and we'll work our way over here to the left.
Very cool. I'm Jack. I'm the drummer.
My name is Wyatt. I do vocals and guitar.
my name is Josh. I do vocals and guitar.
My name is Joel. I do a bass.
Awesome. Which one of you guys is lead and rhythm, if there's any?
It would mostly be me doing leads, but we kind of switch between the two. It really depends on the day. Not the day, but
You gotta hold the mic to your mouth,
what we're
dude.
doing. What we're doing with our music.
Awesome.
If we're doing more melodic stuff, then I'll normally take the lead on that. But harder stuff, if we want something a little more intricate, I would say that's me. He's doing more of what would you call that, man?
I'm doing kind of more of like a melody part or so. Nothing like too complicated. Just something that's catchy and that'll get the listeners like just humming in their head. Because I have a huge like soft spot for like those parts that aren't really shining, like aren't really prevalent in the songs, but like you hear them and then they just get stuck in your head.
So we're kind of in a way getting like a small distinction, so your guys' listeners are, kind of aware of who's singing what.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
awesome. Okay, so that being said, how did this right off the bat? How did this band start?
It kind of depends who you ask, but the one major thing that definitely got this band starting was Jack. So if you want to tell everybody how that happened.
Jump in then. So we all went to Voss, or we three went. Josh, Wyatt, and I. We all went to Voss, and we all played baseball there. And when I was a sophomore, you were a freshman. He came in. I knew he played guitar, and then I think you started playing like off-season games with us when you were still in eighth grade.
Yeah.
Like the winter of like 2019 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like the winter. No, it was 2018.
Yeah, and then so one of our teammates like found Josh's YouTube channel and he was singing and playing guitar to "Drain You" by Nirvana. And I was like, oh shoot, okay, so I now know someone who plays guitar, and then I know someone who also plays guitar and can sing. And then also my younger brother Joe, who was our first bassist. Obviously, he and I have been playing music together for a while. So I kind of just had like, if I wanted to start a band, because I was kind of getting those ideas in sophomore year of high school. I was like, I've been playing baseball, doing other stuff, but I have this love for music and like heavier, aggressive stuff, and I like playing the drums, and I want to like do something with that. So then that summer, I got with Wyatt, and I was like, hey man, we should try and like start a band or something. So then Wyatt came over one day, and Joe was there, my brother, and we just jammed out, and it kind of clicked. And I was like, let's see if we could bring Josh in, because at that point you were kind of committed to going to Voss, and we were getting to know you a little bit more through the summer practices. So Josh came in and it just kind of like clicked like that. And we've been playing it, and then we've gone through a couple lineup changes with bassists, but we've been playing since like summer 2019, pretty much.
Yeah.
So in a way, 2019, that's about what, like 4 years? Right?
Yeah, like
a
about
good
4
4
years.
years. That's impressive, and the fact that how many lineup changes has it been? It's only just one, right? Or
It's
Been 3 now, right?
3?
Yeah, because Joe left. I want to say like 2021, and then we had another bassist step in, and then that didn't really last too long.
and then
And we got Joe to come back and just like fill in for a show or two, and he kind of fell in love with it. And he was like, "Oh, this is fun. I like playing shows." So then he was like, "Hey, I want to come back." And then he just moved out to college this past fall and summer. So that's when we got Joel.
Awesome. Yeah, because I recall you guys playing at Vashella, I believe.
Oh, shoot, were you there at Boston?
Yeah, I
Oh,
played.
no way.
Yeah. I'm also a drummer myself. Not too active though, but um, what's it?
That's
So
which Voschella, because we played
we played
back-to-back years.
Yeah, we played last year, 2020.
Last year. Oh, it's
Yeah.
sick. Okay.
I think we were before you guys.
Were you with Elvis's band, right? No, Elias. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, Elias's band.
Elias. Yeah,
who
dude.
we
That's
were
that's
with.
the homie. I went to
Yeah.
elementary school with them.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a way you guys. This band was just all just pure connections. right?
Definitely.
Awesome. So, when we recently spoke with Concussion, we asked them, is there anything that they perform, before a gig? Obviously, I don't know how many shows you guys played, but I'm pretty sure a couple times where you guys have a little, tension or maybe not so much anxiety, in that case. But is there anything that you guys perform like before, as a group or individually that kind of, mellows everything down so that you guys are, all warmed up and whatnot?
Yeah, like we like to spend the day like of a show together. So like we'll get together super early in the day, like around maybe like 1 o'clock if we're playing around like 6 or 7, and we'll just kick it. We'll like run through our set like twice, and we'll watch a lot of concert videos. Some of the main ones I would say we watch we watch a disgrace at For the Children 22,
Yeah, there's that one, and then
God's Hate at Sound and Fury.
Yeah, and then Metallica 1989 in Seattle. That's one we like. So we'll just watch like concert videos, just because. I mean, we do that after shows too. So that's like the pregame and the postgame.
And you guys record your guys' concerts also?
Yeah, Jack's dad records like every single show, which is pretty sick.
And do you guys watch it after, to kind of see how it went?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes he doesn't get like the video exactly, or sometimes he doesn't get all of it, or sometimes we're just too tired and we're like, yeah, let's just break for the day. So we also it's just like and then in the past we'd upload it. We had like a Google Drive with a bunch of footage on it.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
kind
stuff
a
in there.
hassle to do that, so we haven't done it.
Oh yeah, of course.
So there's
yeah.
like a lot of just like malformed performances on their iCloud, which is super sick. But sometimes we're like, I don't know if we want to watch them.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully, you guys' viewers will want to, see those pretty soon if you guys get the YouTube channel running.
Oh yeah, definitely. We do have a lot of footage that we're sitting on, so we're gonna pick and choose the best ones and the more important ones, and definitely put those out for people who didn't have an opportunity to see
Yeah,
them.
of course. And I mean, you guys mentioned 4 years stuck around. I'm pretty sure everyone want to see the earlier Malform. How that stuff was.
I don't know if they're gonna want to see that.
Nobody
Nobody wants
wants
to see that.
Just this current lineup.
Yeah,
We'll call this what, the Mark 1, Mark 2 lineup?
yeah. It's just like
Yeah, I don't really know what we call it because we kind of started out as like a different band almost.
Uh-huh.
We were more thrash. back
More
in the day,
thrash.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it wasn't until this new record where we started venturing more into like the hardcore type of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So when we were thrash, it was, dude, we had songs about
global warming.
Oh, interesting.
Save the planet, by the way.
Which it was kind of cool, but like I think like just especially like during like COVID, we just like kind of progressively got heavier and slower and heavier.
Mhm.
We still can play fast parts. We still like playing those parts.
And it's something that you all enjoy playing.
Yeah, and
Of course.
I think it's just a matter of us, getting older and discovering ourselves and like what we truly want to
course, of
represent and how we
course.
feel.
Of course. So, in regards to your guys' lyrics that are written in your songs, is there any symbolism to any specific meaning, or is it just, let's just fill this in with words, or is there a specific reason why you choose to have these exact lyrics?
We do try to have like a deeper meaning to our lyrics and our imagery sometimes too. With this new upcoming release, Lower, which depending on when this is released, is coming out on December 16th, a week from today. It's definitely filled with a lot of lyrics reflecting on self-reflection and individualism and kind of like finding yourself, because a lot of these songs are pretty old. Like we were playing them about maybe like almost 3 years ago, and we're finally getting around to releasing them. So I think they definitely have a lot of deeper meanings, and we're hoping it's something people can relate to within the words that Wyatt and Jack wrote, and we think it's gonna be a kick-ass release. And as for the faces, I'll let Wyatt talk about that because he wrote most of those lyrics.
Why are you the main songwriter of the majority of the songs,
I
or
would say that it's mostly between me, Josh, and then Jack also handles some of the lyrics as well.
Uh-huh.
But for lyrically, I think what we try to attack most of the time is a feeling of individualism. It's also, your environment in which you grow up around. So we have a whole bunch of different views that span, I would say, different things. The tour was mostly about at least a darker point in some of our lives. I forget what Crutch was about. if I'm being totally honest.
I think Crush just was one of those songs that just sounded sick. I think those we just put words.
Actually,
Yeah,
when we
so we'll do
first
that sometimes. Just like if something sounds cool, we'll put it in. But
But-
we usually try and tie it together with something.
So when it comes to like these lyrics, do some of these kind of also come from, some sort of experience that you guys had, or like a specific tone or mood that you guys are in?
Yeah, totally. For example, one of the songs on the new EP, "Bleeding from a Well Run Dry," that one I think is the most meaningful, at least to me. I wrote my part about experiences that I went through, especially over quarantine and just through all my life that I didn't know that was affecting the way that I viewed things, how I treated people, and stuff like that. And I kind of wrote about my perspective of feeling kind of locked in this box, and just being in a state of, I wouldn't say depression, I guess more so contentment with the madness going on inside my head, and how I was feeling about myself after truly looking within what was wrong, what was going on with me. And it was kind of like a release, kind of like setting myself free from those chains that I had. And so stuff like that.
Joel, what about you?
What about me? What was the question again? Sorry.
If there's most of these lyrics, has it, been from some sort of past experience or
Well,
something of how you're feeling?
I had nothing to do with this writing for Lower, so I can't really say too much. But yeah, definitely from what I hear.
Are you planning on
Yeah,
giving a little bit of input when it comes to writing songs?
yeah, most definitely. I'm planning
Awesome.
to, but I don't
Okay.
really consider myself a part of this era yet, because I'm barely getting into this band.
But you do enjoy
Yeah,
being
I
in
do
it.
enjoy. I
Of
do
course.
enjoy being here. But
Awesome.
Yeah, dude, like we're super grateful Joe stepped up after Joe left. He's a kick-ass bass player. I mean, he really impressed us at the audition. Right then and there, he was the first guy. He showed up like 30 minutes before, which was pretty like sick to see.
Yeah.
And he blew us away, man. He played the parts. He ripped through those parts like nothing, and it was really cool. So we're really glad to have Joel a part of the Malform journey, and we're doing a lot of good shit. And right now we're super grateful to have him.
Yeah, and it seems you guys do really appreciate when it comes to the craft that you guys have created. A lot of people will think that, having a part, in their take in a band is just considered a duty or chore, if that makes sense. But it seems that all of you think that this is something that you guys want to do and something that you guys want to also pursue, which not many people do, especially now.
100%, man. Like me personally, this is what I see myself doing as a career. Whether it be in bands or just working in music, because it's the one, like, really the one passion that I have, and I know these guys can also agree. We put our heart and soul into this project. We've been together for we've been friends for more than 5 years, playing music for about the same amount of time. So like this is definitely like kind of like our heart and soul being put out into the world.
So on our last interview with Concussion, we kind of got not too much in depth of what it means to be in the underground, but that does seem to be a very broad and very popular term in terms of every band here in the Valley. So can you guys kind of give a little more emphasis on what underground means? What does it mean to be underground in terms of a band?
Well, I think there's different layers to it, because if we're talking, at least the way I see it, if we're talking about music as a whole, I think aggressive music and heavy music, like what we play, and punk, metal, it's kind of like it's underground, just because like it doesn't really have a lot of mainstream appeal.
At least not anymore.
Yeah, I mean I feel like it's definitely been like a dip, and there's a few.
No,
yeah.
yeah.
Definitely, but
I feel like it's been exploding a lot.
Yeah, I was about to get into that too. It's like making a huge comeback.
Yeah.
Say what you want about the internet. I personally am sometimes a hater. I will admit, but it definitely has done a lot of good on shedding light on underground styles of music. The more recent ones, I remember a lot of black metal coming out a couple years ago. More recently, the gore grind stuff and the mincecore stuff, which it can be hit or miss. It just depends. It just depends, like, your taste. And then now it's a lot of hardcore is making a huge comeback, at least
Of course.
especially here in the Valley, man. The Valley's going on a huge renaissance right now. A lot of great bands are coming
Course.
up, playing these great shows. Shout out the Midnight Hour, dude. The Midnight Hour put like it revived the Valley, in my opinion. So like we're super grateful to be very good friends with the people who run it. Shout out Sergio. Shout out everybody who runs Midnight Hour. It's definitely a huge renaissance going on.
Yeah, so in terms with what I'd asked before, a lot of people have, or not a lot of people, I should rather say, not to be pointing any fingers at that, but um, some would kind of argue saying that underground meaning that no one wants to be a sellout in a band, in that terms. But I am still trying to get some emphasis on it. Does it really mean to hate on these people who are trying to land a corporate deal or something?
Well, I mean, I think if you're doing it soullessly, if you're just like, if that's your intention is to get like a lot of money and just like music is the way you're playing to do that, I think it's fair to criticize that. But I think if you genuinely care about your music and you find and you work on, coming up with good stuff and you care about it and that strikes some corporate appeal and someone offers you a deal, I think if you're able to continue doing what you genuinely care about and love, I don't like, I get the critiques and I get the sellout stuff, especially if it seems like maybe you're pandering to another audience by kind of like playing your music a certain way to appeal to other people.
Mhm.
But I think if you're being genuine and you're earning what you're getting, and like I said, you're getting that deal because what you're genuinely coming up with people like, then I don't really see a problem with that.
I think selling out is more so changing yourself, to fit other people's standards. If I were to go into corporate and let's say 5 years we become a pop band, then yeah, I would say that we sold out. Or we're fitting in to try and fit.
Yeah, it's trying to fit some kind of
No, of
mold.
course, because it's in a way you're kind of getting rid of a part of yourself of what you once were, because lots of bands in the earlier years, at first they all start off saying, "This is what we want to play." This is the audience that we want. We want to play this music. But eventually they all land a corporate deal, and pretty soon that's when the greed, the egoism, the
Yeah.
narcissism comes in, and it's just all about money.
I think the term sellout is just thrown around to I saw an interview, I forget who it was. They described something called the crab mentality. So what that is, it's like you throw a bunch of crabs in a barrel. They're all going to try to claw out and get out of the barrel. And each one of those crabs are bringing each other down because they want to be the one to get out. So a lot of people don't understand is, some of these bigger bands, or at least that are gaining more notoriety and more recognition for their craft, have been doing it for a long time. They don't realize that, because they just see, this one album that blew up because it had really good music. They don't see, EPs. They don't see singles that they released like years prior to that. And, the amount of touring people probably have done. Now, that's not to say there aren't cases like that, because industry plants are real. But when it comes to like bands and stuff like that, I think a lot of people like to discredit previous, the grind. People like to discredit the grind a lot. And I don't really like saying bands sold out, because if there's a mass audience for what you want to do and what you're doing, go ahead, man, make it your career. Who wouldn't want that? Like, who wouldn't want to do something they love? It doesn't apply just to music. It applies to like, it's like sports. It's like sports, playing minor league baseball, like, oh, that's considered like, we be the minor league baseball, like music world.
Right.
Going up to the majors, oh, you're a sellout. Like, yeah, I'm gonna want to play. I want now, like, yeah, if I was a baseball player, I'd want money for my talent, and if people like they like what they see and they want to invest,
Right.
then that should be something that I personally believe, is good for the music, is good for just anything. Like, just it gives people more reason to strive for what they love doing.
But shit, I keep on blanking out.
You're good.
Sorry.
Yeah, what's your opinions on sellouts, Joel?
My opinions on sellouts. I mean, my opinions on sellouts are like, I don't think there's sellouts unless, like Jack said, unless you change your whole sound just to appeal to some different crowd. But I don't know. That's I'm not really too fond of anything, to be honest.
Yeah, and I know I know I'm spewing out a bunch of words, so if people want to, take what I say out of context, call me a sellout, then so be it. I know what I believe. We know what we believe,
Of
and
course.
we
And
we will always stick behind people striving for what they want to do, whether they like it or not.
and I believe that's a moral that a lot of bands should really stick by, because
Yeah.
especially now in this generation, a lot of people tend to do whatever they can to please others, when it's kind of really stripping away the pride that you have,
Hmm.
so why, let me ask you, do you think that sellout, the term itself, has just been misused?
Are you saying in today's generation, or
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the context. Like we've been saying, if I were to go here and say that anyone who has a record deal is a sellout, I think that's just completely wrong. I think as long
Mhm.
as they're loving what they do, as long as they're making music, because I think the realest thing that anyone can do, is say real shit, something that someone, or saying something that they mean, because everyone has a chance in this life to do something, and if you're just gonna fucking regurgitate the same shit that the other dude was saying, what's the point?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I think the only way that you're selling out is if you're going and saying, if I'm saying what Jack's saying, if I'm saying what Josh is saying, if I'm saying what you're saying, that's when I'd start selling out. I
Right.
think it's more about the individual. It's more about the experience that you bring to the table.
So it's almost as if you're relying on this person saying, "Oh, what he said, I'm agreeing with he's saying. Oh, what he's saying, I'm agreeing with it. What you're
Right.
saying, I'm agreeing with it." But I'm not completely being full to myself because it's an opinion that I'm relying on people to say for me, and I'm just agreeing with it, so I don't look like an idiot or
Right.
something.
Right.
Awesome. So let's kind of shift away from this particular area, and let's kind of dive into the hardcore punk culture in itself, right?
Definitely.
So, um, now, like I did before in the previous interview, let's take a little bit of a backstory into here, right? So, what would you guys consider your guys' genre to be?
Oh man, you asked the worst people this question. We don't even know what we are. So, we kind of take elements from hardcore, definitely. Take elements from, we could say thrash, like
I'd say,
Slayer,
like,
like the
thrash,
heavier sides of thrash, like
death
Slayer,
metal.
Morbid Saint,
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. Death metal,
Mhm.
sludge. Shout out Nola Sludge.
Amen.
Amen. Shout out Crowbar. Crowbar, come to the midnight hour,
Kick
please.
your ass.
And yeah, like melodic kind of bands like Typo Negative too definitely have a large influence in what we do. So like those, I think 4 genres
Mhm.
kind of like mold what Malform is.
Awesome. So, thrash seems to be the sort of biggest element in regards with your guys' music. So, in this
Yeah.
case, I want
Arguably, yeah.
right. So, I'm more invested into this hardcore kind of stuff. Hardcore is a new genre of punk rock. So, in regards with this, let's kind of take this back to about, let's say, early 70s, mid 70s, right? So, punk rock, as I had mentioned, was a rebellious genre. Everyone was at revolt against the government, a bunch of political views, and I mean, it wasn't just punk rock itself, but also during the era of the Vietnam War, a bunch of people began growing their hair long, or began wearing clothes that kind of express themselves, to revolt against the government. So I want to dive more into with clothing significance. I asked Concussion if any of their clothing styles has anything to do with the music that they play or how they express themselves. So in a similar way, I also want to ask you guys the same thing. Does the clothes that you guys wear have any significance? We're seeing a lot of dark colors with in your guys' clothing. So does that really express how you are, or is there any symbolism to this?
I think we take a lot of inspiration from Lady Gaga,
You're
massively. I think that not.
gonna do. Jack's gonna wear the meat suit, dude.
For style, no. I think it's. I mean, dude, he's wearing my dad's electrical company on his
Yep.
shirt.
I'm
wearing the shit that I would wear to work. He's wearing.
I'm wearing Vans, my
I'm wearing
dad's
the hardest
jeans.
Vans, by the way. Zouse.
Shout out Maggot Stomp.
Yes, sir.
Maggot Stomp. Shout out Criminalized SFV. And yeah, we're just kind of. I think a lot of what we wear kind of reflects. We're from Southern California. Southern California. Like Joel's literally wearing a Circus Liquor shirt, literally an 818 staple. You know,
Right.
like it's just a reflection of where we're from, and I don't really think it has anything to do with kind of any symbolisms like, oh, I'm wearing a dark color because I'm sad,
Right.
or just like anything. It's like we just the environments we're
right.
from.
And
Like,
because the goth culture was a lot of dark colors, that kind of represented their mood. Or
shout
like
out goths, man.
Or like I mentioned before,
Y'all make great music.
punk rockers, lots of denim, mohawks and a bunch of
Hair dye,
hair dyed, all
piercings.
that. Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's just like, I don't think of punk as a genre. It's a way of life. It's an
lifestyle.
attitude. Like it kind of evolves over time. Like you said, like during the Vietnam War era days, people growing out their hair, smoking weed, listening to what was eventually becoming a booming rock and roll renaissance. That was punk at the time. In the 70s, leather jackets, boots, still growing out your hair, sunglasses, stuff like that, booming. That was the counterculture at the time. Now it's kind of branched off into so many different directions. You can't pinpoint it. It's like, depends who you ask what punk is. I personally think it's your morals. So as long as you're a good person with good morals, that don't fuck with anyone else's way of living, not being compliant with ignorance and hate, and spreading hate, you're punk. If you're combating the shit that oppresses people, you're punk.
Interesting. So, and I want to, I'd ask you, you guys mentioned to me earlier your guys' influences, right? Thrash, hardcore, all of that. So let's kind of get more into depth with that. So who are you guys' influences and why have these become your influences?
You
Are you-
just want to do like 3 in a row?
Are you talking like bands or musicians or?
Yeah, bands, musicians, anything.
So, I guess I'll go off like the musicians and the bands that they're in. I mean, my primary influence that kind of got me into drumming was Dave Lombardo from Slayer, and like I feel like I'm still trying to capture some of what he does in my playing even now, even though like that was like 7 years ago when I first heard him. I was like, whoa, I want to try and do what he's doing. And then I'd say Joey Jordison from Slipknot is another big one. I
Very
think
big influence.
the way his drumming works is just great. And then Chris Adler from Lamb of God too. I think if I were to pick like my big 3 drummers and then like also their bands too as like my influences, I think those would be the ones for sure.
What?
So what got me into it was definitely Metallica back in the day. So Metallica, and then everybody hates him, but Dave Mustaine.
Fuck Dave Mustaine, dude. Fuck you,
Dave
dude.
Mustaine, dude, would kill anybody on guitar, brother.
Dude, Metallica played his songs better than he
Anyways,
wrote them.
So what I'm saying is Dave Mustaine, dude.
Four Horsemen is
fucking
better
kills,
than Mechanics, man.
Almost fucking kills, if not does kill any other thrash band out there.
Not sure,
He
dude.
wrote the
Slayer.
fucking riffs. He
Slayer.
wrote
You're
the
telling me
fucking leads.
Slayer is
I'm
not
saying-
as good as Megadeth?
I'm saying that Megadeth in the leads and then fucking melodic, and even in the fucking chugs, dude, has it over Slayer.
No,
You can fucking tell me I'm wrong, brother.
you're wrong.
Watch
Yeah,
him become
Megadeth is the heaviest,
Watch him.
chuggiest band out there.
What I'm saying, man, is for me it was Megadeth, and the leads that he came up with were insane. Melodically, and for a kid that was 14, maybe 13 at the time, dude, hearing the first stuff off that first album, I remember hearing that for the first time, and I thought, this dude's fucking casting spells and shit like that. This motherfucker's a wizard, right? So I'm like,
Right.
yeah, this is my guy, right?
So a
He's
complete
becoming a
mind
god, if you
blower.
will.
Exactly.
Awesome. Yeah.
For me personally, I'm probably gonna get a little bit of shit for this, especially because you guys weren't even metal musicians. I was a huge pop punk kid growing up. Like Green Day. Shut up. I know what you guys are thinking. Green Day was like my biggest inspiration. I got into Green Day when I was 4. Been a diehard Green Day fan since. Billy Joe Armstrong was the reason why I wanted to play guitar and sing at the same time. Kurt Cobain was another inspiration of mine, and just the way his presence is, man. Like the whole grunge scene was sick as fuck. But he wasn't the best guitarist. I'm not the best guitarist, but I like to think he kind of paved the way for creating fun riffs, catchy melodies, and that's something I like doing.
Oh yeah, of course, and,
And-
not just these catchy riffs, but also very simple riffs. Also,
Yeah,
that
super
just
simple, like power chords,
of course,
open notes, like
with
simple
just
shit like that.
lots of distortion.
I
Yeah, of
personally am
course.
not a fan of technical stuff. I like listening to it. Don't want to do it. I leave it all up to this guy to do it for me. But yeah, and Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance too. Just his overall stage presence. How this dude's fucking crazy, man. Like he just goes crazy on stage. I like to try to emulate some of that.
Mhm.
Kind of hard when you have to sing and play at the same time, but I say those guys kind of shaped like my guitar playing.
Uh-huh.
And then as I got into more genres growing up, like death metal has a huge influence on kind of the riffs I write as well. Same thing for hardcore. So it's just kind of like a mix of genres and musicians as well.
I'd say the biggest inspirations for me when I got into bass was off Metallica. Jason Newsted, really good bass player.
Respected.
Fucking love that guy. Rex Brown off of Pantera. He's fucking sick.
Oh, the mic's on.
Yeah,
The mic's
I
on.
noticed mine was off.
Is-
I just
No, it's on.
when I tried
It's
that.
on.
All right,
Yeah, it's
quick
pretty
mic
good.
check. All green.
Mic check.
All green.
Mic check.
green.
All green.
All green.
Check,
And green, no, it wasn't for probably
Green lights on
the
there,
first part of
Green
it.
lights.
Green lights on there, right?
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's good.
Okay,
I think mine was off.
we're good.
way. Dude,
Oh.
that sucks.
That's what I was saying.
I wasn't saying anything important.
All right. Fuck, who was I on?
You were talking about
Oh,
Rex Brown.
Yeah, Rex Brown. Rex Brown with Pantera. He's fucking killer, dude. And originally, first bass player. Well, band I just got into. Well, not just got into, but when I was a kid, I first listened to Slipknot. So Paul Gray was also another good inspiration for me.
Interesting, right? I mean, I can't speak for the majority of this. I'm a huge fan of early '70s rock.
Fuck yeah.
Zeppelin, Hendrix,
Hell yeah.
all that stuff. Deep Purple.
Yeah, dude, we love that shit here.
Yeah.
On the way back from shows, especially longer drives.
The
The
Doors.
Doors, baby.
Man.
Doors,
Crystal Ship. And then you got,
of course.
what else?
We got Pentagram.
Pentagram. Pentagram goes hard. Let's see.
We listen to some Hendrix.
Yeah, I mean, Hendrix got Red House.
Deep Purple.
Deep Purple, I'm not a fan.
I like Deep Purple. I'll play Deep Purple.
Yeah.
Highway Star
He's
Fuzz.
a highway
I
star.
love Deep Purple. Ian Pace, the drummer's rudiments. Very. I wanted to ask Jack, from drummer to drummer. First thing that caught my attention when I first went through your guys' page is your drum setup, right? It
Really?
seems very, very complex. Like I said,
Dude, your eyes lit up right now when you started talking about that.
not
He's a
complex,
complex
in
man.
but not in a negative way. Because drum setups are probably one of my favorite things. For at least for me growing up. You have lots of cymbals that I'm pretty sure you utilize most of them.
Yeah, I mean it's. I guess I'd never really considered it simple or complex because I thought it's just too. I mean, it's also we're one of the few hardcore adjacent bands that uses a second rack tom. Usually it's one rack and then the floor. So I feel like. And then for a while there I was using a splash, but I haven't my stand for that's been fucked up.
Oh yeah, of course.
I haven't been using the splash, but I kind of want to get into that. So, but I think it's cool. It's interesting that you think it's complex. I guess it is a lot of.
Well, I mean,
symbols to
at
manage.
the same time, I could just be speaking for myself. I'm to me, I consider my setup very simple. I utilize just one rack tom, one floor tom, and 3 cymbals. That's just what all I need.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, I like having. Aside from the tom setup that I kind of just detail a little bit, but I like having a smaller crash, just something really quick, and then I like having a bigger crash, a 20. I got a couple years ago, I got a 20-inch crash for my birthday, and that thing is, well, it's broken now. I cracked it, but it was
He goes hard, man.
just having that loud sound from that my crashes are as big as my ride, so just having
So
that powerful
that
just-
power sound, awesome.
It's cool, and then I've always liked a China. For a while there, my China was my second.
Oh yeah,
crash for a moment.
China's how you have
So
to.
I like using the China as well, and then, like I said, the splash back when I had that on the kit, the splash was pretty cool. I wanted to work it in more.
At
But,
least he got a new crash for his birthday.
so
awesome.
yeah, no, it's cool. I like using a lot of symbols
No,
because
yeah,
they all
but,
add different
I mean,
effects to the.
Not putting any hate towards your setup.
No, I wasn't
Your
thinking you were.
setup-
I was surprised that you thought it was complex. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
No,
complex.
I mean I know. It's the average standard setup. Unless we see like Neil Peart set up,
Yeah.
God damn.
That's what I would consider
Fuck
to be
that.
complex. Just
Terry
like all
Boz
sorts of
or
shit.
Terry Boz yelling like that.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine managing that. Like what I have right now for my drum set, maybe, I've always given thought to getting like a little like small, like Tom over here, like Sepultura type. But like other than that, I'm kind of happy with the way my
Right.
kid
And
is.
I think what
wouldn't wanna
matters
add
I think what
anything
matters
else.
is that
Yeah.
you use all that you have, because really what's the purpose of, having 10 toms on this side, 12
Yeah.
crashes on one side if you're just going to only use 2 or 3.
It's like the amp wall at like huge concerts. Only like those are just shells, man. Like they don't even have any electronics in them. It's kind of like that,
yeah.
I think.
So, influences, right? So, going back to this, this specific genre, right? So, we see that punk rock now is really considered a very controversial genre. There's some people that spread so much negative hate towards it, but then there's so much people that also appraise it at the same time. So we're kind of looking at a small, tipsy balance scale on it. We have some people that love it so much. We have some people that talk so much hate about it, right? So with this, this is actually a genre that's actually been altered since the beginning of its time.
Yeah.
With no question. So with your guys's influence of hardcore with also elements of thrash, this kind of metal, why did you guys choose to do it? Was it something that you guys just grew up listening to, or you guys just decided this sounds cool, what if we just give it a shot?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think all like the best. I think, in my opinion, all the best metal bands and aggressive bands have punk influences. So like Slayer, Metallica, like they wouldn't be as good as they were without the punk influences. And then I think just because of that, that's just like kind of what we grab. I mean, like sludge is essentially just like they took what Black Sabbath punk bands doing what Black Sabbath trying to be Black Sabbath. So like it's interesting to see how that. And like it's even interesting to see like how hardcore has developed. Like it started with like
hardcore, dude.
like it's like
Like it's
hardcore
like,
started with
it's
like
hard,
Minor
it's like
Threat.
yeah, like punk with metal influences.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
With the entire
there's a genre. Of
the
it.
entire
it's
rock
crossover thrash.
Of course, the entire rock genre in itself, if we strip, if we go, back to the 50s, we've had, Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, Bill Haley and his Comets, and then we're kind of taking it down a small chunk. We got Elvis coming in, Chuck Berry, and then we're moving on to the Stones, the Beatles, and before you know it, Zeppelin comes in. And that's when we have other ones. We have Santana, we have Hendrix coming in, then Deep Purple, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And before you know it, this now the main genre of rock has eventually been spread into small branches, but they still have some elements that are pure to it, much like you guys mentioned.
Yeah.
Some punk bands have metal influences to it. So it's very interesting to see that you guys decided to choose this route. So I also wanted to ask you guys, what is your guys' primary goal when it comes to creating this music that you guys make? Is it sending a message, or is it for fun, or is there really a deeper meaning to Malform music?
So the overall goal with this is to be able to be proud of what we're doing. We try our best to put everything into what we do into this band, that we're proud of it, and that we know other people will like it. There will be the people who don't like it, and that's fine. You're entitled to how you feel about us, how you feel about our music, or how you feel about the genre as a whole. But it's more of a sense of us being proud of what we're putting out. And I feel like Malform is a much deeper thing too. I feel like it goes way beyond just a band. It's like a brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
We even like regardless, knock on wood, wherever it is, this works out, but if it doesn't, we're always going to be Malform. All the people who supported us are always going to be Malform. All of our friends, they're Malform. So it's kind of like it's a community. Malform is a community. That's how I like to perceive it.
And are you guys all proud of yourselves, of what you have
Most
created,
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
Sorry, can you say the question one more time?
If you guys are proud of what you guys have
Before that.
Oh, I mentioned that is our primary goal when you guys are making this music?
I think it is a message. I think it's also now I feel like people throw around therapy really broad, but when you step in, dude, and you're able to put your words down, you're able to put your feelings out there. It doesn't matter if you're accepted for it or not. It's just once you're able to get it down on paper, make it into a song, you're getting it out of yourself. Not to say that that's not still in you, but you are expressing yourself in that sort of way. I think for us, it is a message. We do have some messages in our lyrics, but more so it's
Malform can mean whatever you want it to mean.
yeah.
I think that's kind of like why we named it Malform too, right?
Yeah, kind of like that. I think in general, just our music, we try to reflect how we feel about certain things, like even in the instruments, just and regardless of the lyrics. And I think we just want, like you brought up the therapy thing, and I think that's interesting because it's kind of like we do get there is like some therapeutic nature to this. Just like I think it's just aside from it being something we enjoy, and I think if we can make some, if we're just doing this because we like doing it, and if other people relate to it, they can, they relate to it, or if people connect to it, that's great.
And then they make their own
I
interpretation
think
of what
if
it
you're
means.
pissed off for an hour, dude, if you're just pissed off at each other, you're pissed off and you're making music together, then of course you're gonna get fucking something out of it.
Oh, of course. And this has actually been seen. The first example that comes off to the top of my head, Pink Floyd. They made amazing progressive rock music, but eventually, by the time their album Animals was released, that's when they started experiencing lots of disagreements, arguments, fighting included.
Yeah.
And I think I don't really want to kind of push the bell on this one and say that it's common for every band to fight, because
No, it is. Dude, this band has had serious beef with one another for like a year straight before we became Malform. It was kind of like in the weird years of like post-COVID where we wanted to figure out where we're going. Like we had a lot of disagreements, but at the end of the day, like we were brothers, it's like brothers fight. We were able to get through it. That's all that matters,
Mhm.
and like, get through it together. And that's all that mattered to me, So I think it is common for bands to fight because that leads to progression. That
No,
leads
of
to
course.
something new.
Yeah,
Rather than,
I was
like
in a-
getting along all the time, You want to have that like
if
challenge.
you're not
you know?
saying anything about his drumming, dude, I absolutely love it. But if I were never to say anything about it, he would just keep doing it without any
And
input.
yeah, and you end up saying like, you start getting a little iffy about it, right?
Exactly.
I was in a
If there's no personal growth within it, dude, if he's not changing, or I'm not changing, or if he's not changing, then all we're gonna do is just the same shit for 15 years, dude.
Right.
It's pointless.
I was in a punk band over the summer. But everyone here or everyone in every band has different music tastes, obviously. So I had to kind of express my mind to it, and arguments broke up, and eventually the whole band itself broke up. But I do kind of see of what you're saying, because you said, like you mentioned, it's something that gives personal growth. If you were to never tell you about Jack's drumming, or maybe Joe could be playing some bass lick that you don't quite agree with, but if you don't say anything, how's it really going to affect you guys if you guys are all having different opinions on it?
Yeah,
not
like
coming to a consensus.
yeah, like adding like we all kind of bring our own element to the band, style wise and genre wise. So like having that kind of input, and even sometimes constructive criticism. Sometimes we don't want to hear it, but sometimes it's needed to be heard, and it leads to like great fucking shit. It leads to great things. So I it's healthy,
Of course.
Yeah, and all our disagreements just come from the point that we all care so much about the project that we all, in our own way, think we know what's best for what to do, whether it's like a quote unquote business decision on like what we're gonna do, like in terms of like how we're gonna spend money that we've earned as being in the band, or whether it's like what parts we're gonna put where, what song we're gonna do. And I think, like I said, it's just because we care, and I think the reason why I think I like what we do so much is because we find a compromise between what he wants, what I want, what Josh wants, and hopefully once we start writing a little bit more with Joel, we'll be able to consider his input and come up with something hopefully that's unique and more original than what's come out in the past. And that's just kind of like our process that we like. to
And
work
Jack,
through.
you mentioned that in terms of all your guys' music, that if someone feels or relates to it, that feels great. So I want to ask all of you guys, how does it feel? Because you guys have, like I said, a very big fan base. 1,800 followers is a lot. So
Yeah, man, we're super grateful, like, to everyone who supports us. Anyone who's ever like interacted or came to a show, said what's up. I love meeting people who I love meeting people at shows. I'm a very social person, so it's like it's always good to see people come out and support you. And it's like I see those people, like, as they're friends. I don't like saying fans. I see them as fans, supporters. I would do anything. At least me personally, I would try to best of my abilities, to not be a people pleaser, but make sure that connection is strong.
And when you guys have people that tell you, your music has impacted me, it's helped me, or anything that's anything positive that's in your guys' music, how does it make you guys feel knowing that, my gosh, I've impacted this person?
It makes me feel amazing. It makes me feel really. It makes me feel amazing, man. Like, because I'm just a guy. We're all just guys. We haven't even lived. We've lived not even a quarter of our lives yet. And if we're making an impact in someone else's life, I see that as something really rewarding. That I'm able to do that for a stranger, maybe.
I think that's also one of the main reasons we all got into this. Was to at least try and make an impact on someone else's life. Because that's what got me into music. When I heard some shit like Megadeth, dude, and no matter if you shit on it or not, it fucking blew my mind. And not so much it made me feel better about myself, but it made me believe a little bit in myself.
And it makes you feel good also.
Yeah.
So I think that if you can get that message across to different people, then that's all you really want to do.
Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that too, and I think kind of going back to an earlier point as well. And this isn't to sound like narcissistic or egotistical or whatever, but I think there's no bigger fans of our music than ourselves. Like, we make music that we like and that we want to see. We're making the music that we want to see there that maybe we aren't seeing from other bands, and that doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that we're putting something out there that we really like. So when we come across a fan or someone who if we come across someone who's like, we made an impact in their lives, it's like
You get it.
we get you. We
you
feel the same way. We like the same music. It's almost like, it's not like they're not fans and we're the artists. It's like we're equally fans of this project.
Of course.
I
And
think it's
cool
just
meeting
like
other people,
a bond.
Yeah, like I
Right.
said, a brotherhood, like a community. That's what Malform is.
of course. And I don't one of my bandmates in another band that I'm in mentioned that he met one of you guitarists at Guitar Center. I don't quite remember, but it's
Let's cut that out of the interview. I'm not a fucking people person.
well
He'll upcharge you at the register.
I will.
well so going back to what Jack mentioned about impacting people, I think that at the end of the day, you guys are seen to other people as idols. These people,
Whoa.
they
Whoa.
believe it or not, they're at least, maybe, let's say, out of the 1,800 followers you guys have on Instagram, let's say at least 4, these guys love you. They love your music. They love how you guys are. It's just the same way somebody would say about Led Zeppelin. Say, hey, do you listen to that? Oh my gosh, Led Zeppelin. I love them. Their music, this and that. But at the end of the day, you guys said, you're all human. You guys have emotions just like everybody else, right?
I'll take this one real fast. We never want to be idols, man.
Kill your idols, man.
There's no difference between me and you. I mean, hell, there's probably a fuck ton of differences between me and you.
Oh, but I mean, yeah.
On a human level, there's no difference between me and you. There's no difference between me and you. We're all just people at the end of the day. It doesn't really take much to get up and just play guitar or get up and sing. Anyone can sing.
So
anyone
you
can
don't think that idols is something that's true? Everyone is just as human. You're in a band, you're still human, right?
I mean, I can
You could
understand
have
that people think like
you could have admiration for somebody, but I don't believe on putting people on like a pedestal.
Or you don't think that there should be some sort of a pyramid? You have lower people.
No,
you have
absolutely not.
these lower people that appreciate these middle line people. The middle line people who appreciate the high end people.
Yeah, I think Malform should be up here, and everyone else should be down here.
Yeah. Someone's gonna clip that.
Yeah,
And be like, fuck.
You're gonna say no. You got to take that back with what you said.
Are you kind of getting on
I
like
do not
super
take that
fans
back.
and stuff?
Like
People who are like super fans
like-
compared to like regular fans? Or, like,
Not necessarily, because in a way, when you have super fans, I think that it's I guess in a way, in my opinion, it's a little unhealthy when it comes
Yeah,
to it,
it's like
because
there's a term for it.
yeah, I think they would call it
parasocial relationship.
because
Yeah.
with super fans, it's a very spaced out definition from someone that just admires you. You take someone that admires you, it's more rather, I like your guys' music, right? I like Jack because he drums out of this world. I like Wyatt because his guitar, it's just unreal. I like Joshua because the same thing. Or I like Joel because his licks are just, I don't know, it's just
The sunglasses are also pretty cool.
Dude,
yeah,
he's
the
looking
sunglasses
hard,
are also
man.
cool. These guys, they admire you. They say, I like Malform,
Yeah.
but they understand, in comparison to those who are super fans, like I'm explaining to you, Jack, because super fans are those who revolve their entire lives around them. Why do you act the way you are? Malform. Why do you do the things that you do? Malform. Why do you have such like this attitude? Malform. Malform.
Well, with that, I will. I hear what you're saying. I think if we were able to impact someone's life to that significance, I'm hoping it's not simply just because of this band, but I'm hoping it's because they see that in themselves.
Right.
It's like, if someone, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself or anything, or sound like, like I said, what's the word? Egotistical. If someone were to revere me as their hero, I'd want them to find themselves. I'd want them to to be, have a reflection of themselves. It's like, I don't even know how to phrase it, but I hope you understand what I'm
No,
trying to
of course,
say.
you
yeah.
wouldn't want them to use us as a crutch or something.
Yeah, something
Crazy.
like that.
Yeah, and
But like if someone does have that we do have that impact on somebody, then I'm super grateful that you actively support.
of
And,
course, and
take some inspiration from what we
and-
do, and hopefully you can apply that to stuff that you do.
right, and like
That
Wyatt
was the
said,
point I was trying to make.
yeah, I understand you. Like Wyatt, you said that you guys' one of you guys' primary goals was to send a message, and it feels great when you impacted someone, right? And I guess that's pretty much, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, like
I think that when we go out and we do what we do, it's more of take the time out of your day to step into this, because we're not trying to. I mean, I'm not trying to be anyone. He's not trying to be anyone. We're just trying to be ourselves at the end of the day.
we're just guys being dudes.
and that's
And
what
anytime-
you think Malform represents. Just you guys
Dudes
are
being
yourselves,
dudes,
just
man.
dudes being dudes.
Well-
Being dudes.
Just being yourself.
Yeah, being yourself.
Yeah, that's
I would
the
say
bottom line.
that that is the bottom line. When you're able to set a show or play some music for someone else, and they could step into that and get away from whatever shit they got going on,
Mhm.
that's mainly what we're trying to do.
So, in regards with you guys' playing, right? What is it about the way that the style that you guys play? Jack, the style of drumming that you do, Wyatt, Josh, the style of the way you guys play. The style of it, Joel, the way you play your bass. What is it about this style of playing that makes it stand out from any other genre of music?
It's freeing. You can capture so many emotions within aggressive music. Like there's so many subcategories of aggressive music that you could literally reflect any single emotion you have. Perseverance, depression, thankfulness. Unity, friendship, I think I said gratefulness already, but both on the whole spectrum of humanity, there's something there for you. So I think that's what kind of separates aggressive styles of music from more traditional styles of music, and I think that heavily reflects on how we play, because the styles that we all kind of bring mesh together super well,
Right.
and we're all able to bring something to the
And I
table
think,
emotionally.
yeah, it also stands out on your guys' banner that says "Free Yourself."
Yeah, I took that in where was I? I was on vacation, San Luis Obispo. I saw that and I took a photo of it. And
Do you think it stood out to you?
oh, it stood out to me. It was at a time of my life where I felt trapped. I was trying to figure out who I was. And I saw that. It was like a sign from the universe. I'm a huge believer in the universe talks to you. I'm a huge believer in the universe has a plan for you.
What about for the rest of you guys? Is it almost equivalent to it?
So I say that one more time, man.
Is it
Do you
almost?
believe the universe?
Is it almost?
Do I believe
Is
the
it almost
universe?
like equivalent? Of that this genre of music that you guys play, the fact that it allows you to, would you say, embrace who you are, or you can be whatever you want.
To free yourself,
Free
if you will.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that kind of like goes in the fact that like you can move your body to this kind of music, whether you want to like flail around and go crazy, or you just kind of want to like nod on the side or whatever. I think that like you can get like this is the kind of music that you can physically get out of your body and just kind of like let out what you need to let out by listening to it, like beyond just like having headphones in. I mean, like if you go to a show, there's always the mosh pit, or there's
Right. Joel, you have any take on it?
You got anything, dude?
Just
Anything.
soaking it all
Yeah.
in,
What do you
right?
think about aggressive music, man?
I fucking love it. It's been a way for me to like escape from most of my shit that I be going through. So I really appreciate all the aggressive music. And where's he going?
Good. You see it.
No, fuck. What was I saying? Yeah, I don't know. I can't really.
You're good, dude.
I can't really put it into words. It's just something you do. With aggressiveness. It's not really. I don't know. It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's just you go and do it.
I think you not knowing how to explain it says all we need to know about it. It's like it's just a feeling you can't put into words. You just feel it.
Right.
I think we just naturally kind of came to this style and this way of playing music and this appreciation for this kind of music.
So I also wanted to ask you guys, how has this genre of music influenced your views on both society and politics?
So for me personally, I don't fuck with anything that oppresses people. I really wish we did live in a world where people could live the life they want, hate free, bigotry free. And that leads me to feel hostile that we don't. It's like I feel like we can convey that message within our music as well, and just in the way that we practice our morals. Looking out for one another. I believe like looking out for one another, making sure everyone's safe, not diminishing or disregarding people based on race, gender, religion, sexuality. I believe we're all at the end of the day, we're all human. We all bleed the same blood, so we should be looking out for each other. And the shit that's going on in the world is fucked up. Secret wars that are going on around the world, a lot of crimes going on, war crimes especially. It's a fucked up time to live, and greed is a huge thing within society that kind of drives this, man. So like within like aggressive music, there's a lot of bands that take that kind of political stance. It's like in punk rock, unity. Unity is the huge thing, and that's kind of one of the biggest things I took away. Unity.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else take on it?
I mean, I feel like aggressive music is more genuine, just like in terms of what people are talking about, real stuff that's happening. And I think like the fans of aggressive music kind of starkly contrast a lot of people who are into like more of like what's popular or just like shit that you might find on TikTok. So I think it also like I don't want to say like your music tastes dictate the kind of person you are, but I think there are maybe some trends that show like in terms of like the societal standpoint. I think there seems to be a lot more like genuine people within this scene than maybe others that I've kind of noticed. Like more of like the mainstream popular scene, who's kind of just they're kind of just going after what's popular, what's kind of like I said, what's popular in the moment, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's more so like the TikTok type of scene. You know, when you have kids on TikTok, and to go back to your point of selling out, I think that those bands that just say stuff just for the reason of saying shit, there's no meaning behind
There is
it.
no meaning to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get into.
And what's super cool is that a lot of bands within the aggressive music scene are activists. Like for example, recently at the midnight hour, there was a benefit show to benefit the children of Gaza. I think they
Shout out
raised.
Sergio.
Shout out Sergio, man. Shout out Midnight Hour for doing this stuff. I think they raised close to about $90,000 from that fundraiser show. Super cool bands like Show Me the Body, Zulu, Click played that night, and a lot of people came out, supported, contacted their local governments, donated to the fund, and it was a beautiful thing to see. I had the privilege to work that show and be a part of that, and it was beautiful. So like a lot of the people within this scene are really outspoken about injustices and being a good human being, speaking out like how to be a good human being, and just do away with ignorance and hate, which is pretty cool.
Well, why we saw you step out. I hope this interview hasn't affected you in some sort of way.
He's a
So-
little anxious. Now I was playing.
Yeah. So, we talked about. We just said on how you guys' music, what makes it stand out, right? So, yeah. How has this genre of music influenced your views on multiple things? So, I wanted to ask you guys now, sort of kind of a personal question, more of how what is it about this culture that makes it stand out from other ones? What makes it, you think, at a higher ranking than any other culture?
I think it's that's a hard hitting question. I think it's just the fact that people of all races, religions, sexualities, genders coming together to bond over the thing they love. And same could be said for a lot of other genres, but I feel that within hardcore and aggressive styles of music, it's it's like extremely prevalent. Like that's one of the foundations it was built on.
Right. And we've seen, for example, after during the times of segregation, it was a very difficult time for lots of people of different races, to get along. Recently now, it's a lot of people with different genders that's very difficult to get along. And going back to, we can take a prime example of this, Woodstock, 1969. That's when everyone found that music was the key for everyone, different gender, different races, to unite and to have one thing in common, and that's to love music.
Exactly.
So, would you say that this is also the same thing when it comes to this sort of culture that you guys are a part of?
Definitely. It's just like any other genre, any other movement, any other lifestyle. It's about bringing love, and like I said, unity is a huge thing within your scene. Like our friends, Funeral Massacre, Iniquity of Hate, Concussion. Shout out CFMI. Those are our brothers, man. Like we're all united through this music. We're all united with a whole bunch of other people. Even strangers. You go to a show, you get spin kicked in the mouth. You dap them up after, out of sign of respect. It's like because you're both there for the same thing. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful representation of humans connecting in different ways.
Why, Jack? Is it the same thing? You think it applies?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything Josh has been saying. He's the most tapped in with the community out of all of us, I'd say. So he's definitely the person to be asking about all this.
Right. So, um, last thing, I kind of wanted to bring this in. I'm planning on doing this on a lot of future interviews, but this last one I think is the last kind of personal question that I think would pretty much wrap this interview up in a positive way. So I wanted to quickly show you guys.
Hell yeah.
So
Who the fuck made that?
malform, right? We've talked so much that this is you guys. This represents you guys, right? So I just wanted to get your guys' input, or what does this mean? What does this symbolize?
So when I first drew that, I drew a rough draft. He was the one that wanted the chains on there, and he did have a meaning behind that. If you want to elaborate on that, behind the chains.
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly just it wasn't like a deep meaning. It was just kind of like a stylistic thing. I just because I wanted to kind of because they're two separate words, mal and form, but they could easily just be combined and be another word.
So its intention is to be separate, is it?
It's yeah, intentionally separate, but it's kind of like a
they're
double
bound
meaning.
together.
The words are bound together with the chains, and it's kind of like you can say malform or you can say malform. The name is supposed to have that double meaning to it.
So
That
if someone were to come across this, right?
Yeah.
What do you want this to mean? Someone sees it, they say malform. What is this entire meaning of your guys' logo itself?
Like I said
You guys
before,
Take a look at it.
like I said before, honestly, throughout this whole interview, this has been a really amazing experience, really fun process. When you flip this around, honestly, I was not to be egotistical or anything, but I felt emotional when you saw this. Ask us, what does this mean? What do you think this means? Like I said earlier, I want this to mean whatever you want it to mean. For me, it means brotherhood. It means community. I got your back, you got mine, vice versa. At the end of the day, if whatever happens with this, you'll always be malformed. We'll always be malformed. That's what it means to me.
Right. And so the reason at first when I first started doing these interviews, I mean, you guys are only the second people I've interviewed, hopefully more to come. My original intention, like I said, was just to have this as a standard project for my assignment. But now realizing the more times that I've gone in depth with a lot of the questions that I've asked you guys, it's kind of put me in a position where the reason now that I want to do this is because I want to be able to express to everyone that we're all every band that everyone admires, like Wyatt said, you guys are all human at the end of the day. You guys have emotions, right? You all feel some certain some sort of way, whenever you can. And overall, there is always a meaning to the band itself. This is not just something that you take in the palm of your hand and you just paste it somewhere. But more rather that it represents something.
Well said.
Right. So, any last minute things you guys want to put out, for you guys as fans that will watch this?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are listening to us, we appreciate it a lot. We're glad that you connect with the music, and we thank you for your support.
Thank you for being along the ride. Shout out the 818. Shout out California in general. Shout out Hardcore.
Shout out Disgrace. Shout out Twitching Tongues. Shout out Concussion. Shout out Funeral Massacres.
Shout out Iniquity of Hate,
Iniquity,
baby.
okay. Shout out Fatal Wounds.
Fatal Wounds, baby. Greenwich.
Nothing but love for the scene, man. That's it.
Nothing but love.
And thank you for having us.
Of course. Yeah.
you.
Thank you guys taking the time out of your day to do this. Very, very fun. And to kind of toot my horn on this, but a little interesting and emotional to kind of see that you guys are at the end of the day just all human.
Dude, I feel bonded with you right now, man. You
Yeah,
asked some good ass
Of course.
questions.
Yeah.
You owe me now, brother.
Yeah.
There's
of
no
course.
escaping.
Yeah. But other than that, for all you guys watching, I'm here with Malform, right? Jack, Wyatt, Josh, and Joel. Be sure to look out for their next couple of shows, right? And overall, I think that will sort of wrap it up.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course, guys.
Malform from the A18. Get with it, get left behind.
Awesome.
Dude, awesome. This is amazing.